There we go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Prevention Coalition of Mercer County. This is our April meeting. If that's where you're planning on being, you're in the right place. So we're glad you're here. This is April 2022. And as many of you know, it is Alcohol Awareness Meeting, Alcohol Awareness Month, we have an excellent speaker coming up, which I'm very excited about. Like right now, we'd like to just introduce ourselves, and if you will please just give a brief, just where you're from, what you do, and like just your job title and where you're from, or what sector you represent, or why you're here. We will have a time at the end of the meeting to talk about upcoming events or any greater detail that you might have. So without further ado, I will start this. Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself. Oh, well, first of all, I'm Melissa Arnold. I am the coalition coordinator for Mercer County. And for those of you who knew Barb Spreckman, I took her position in January, and I can never say that I replaced her because she is irreplaceable. But we are learning and we're growing, and we have a lot of changes coming up as a council as a whole. I work for the Mercer Council on alcoholism and drug addiction as well. Ruth.
Hello, everyone. I am the counterpart to Melissa. I help run PCMC. I'm the Drug Free Communities Coordinator for those of you that know Melissa. I have transitioned into her role, and I'm excited to be here. So thank you.
Okay, next, I'm just going to go with the participants list. David Savalas.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Dave Savalas. I'm from Recovery Centers of America, and I cover Burlington and Ocean County, and Mercer and Middlesex as well.
Big area. All right, Danielle.
Hi, my name is Danielle Bethea. I'm a detective with UN Police Department. I'm currently assigned to the Community Relations Unit.
We're glad to have you. Okay, Pastor Will.
Hi, I'm Pastor Will. I'm the pastor of the Pennington Grace Church of the Nazarene, and that's why I'm here.
He is a volunteer extraordinaire. He's helped us, his congregation has helped us in many things, and we're so glad. All right, Angela Campos.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angela Campos. I'm a prevention educator for the Mercer Council. I work with Melissa and Ruth and Vanessa and Lisa. They're also on this call. And I do evidence-based life skills training to youth. I unfortunately will not be able to stay at the whole meeting today as I'm on my way to Hamilton Public Schools, but I am here to listen and learn.
We're glad to have you. All right, Angelo Raganisi.
That's me. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Angelo Raganisi. I'm from the Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services, specifically the PFS grant.
Okay, next, Camille Bloomberg.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Camille Bloomberg. I'm a licensed professional counselor, licensed alcohol and drug counselor in private practice in Pennington.
All right, Christopher Freeman.
I'm Christopher Freeman from TC&J, also known as Eric Van Eck's biggest fan. And when I'm not that, I'm the assistant director for alcohol and drug support services.
Okay, next I have Aaron Baldwin.
Good morning. My name is Aaron Baldwin. I'm with Partners in Prevention. I'm one of the coalition coordinators. There are a few of us. Good morning.
I'm so jealous, but I'm so appreciative of all of our county partners. So for those of you who don't know, the state of New Jersey has coalitions set up in either all counties or a group of counties. So we just love it when all of us can unify and stay on the same page, hear what each other's doing. Okay, next I have Dario.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Such a pleasure to be in the company of such great folks. Thank everyone for what they do. And I'm a program manager with the Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services. I have the wonderful opportunities to support and work with different agencies around the central New Jersey region with the priorities, underage drinking, prescription drugs, marijuana, tobacco, vaping type initiatives, as well as a few other type grants like that. So thanks for having me. And it's always nice to see everyone.
All right. Thank you, Dario, for all you do for us too. Denise.
Hey, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I don't have much of a voice. I am Denise Nasidis from the Children's System of Care. I am the statewide prevention coordinator on the Partnership for Success grant. Nice to see you.
We're glad you're here. Next, I have Emily DeHaan.
Good morning, everybody. Emily DeHaan from Lawrence Township. I'm the Vulnerable Populations Outreach Coordinator. Good to be here.
Right, I have Gitanjali.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Gitanjali Jain. I am the public health nurse for West Windsor Health Department. We also cover Robbinsville and Hightstown. I'm sorry, Hightstown. And then I am glad to join back, has been kind of out with doing COVID. Swimming in the COVID ocean, to say. And I'm here to listen and learn and catch up. And thanks, Melissa, for letting us join.
All right, thank you for being here. Next, I have Heidi Kame.
Morning, everyone. My name is Heidi Kame. I have two roles in the Hopewell Valley community. One is the coordinator of the Hopewell Valley Municipal Alliance. And also I am a part-time student program coordinator in Hopewell Valley Regional School District. And here to meet all of you great people and to also learn and do whatever we can to support youth in our community and broader than just Hopewell. So nice to be here.
She's awesome. She's always letting us know what she's found, the latest. Ian.
I'm Ian Smith. I am the clinical coordinator at Mill Hill Child and Family Development. And I don't know what else to say. I'm here. I'm glad Eric's speaking today. Haven't seen him in a while. And good to see a lot of your familiar faces.
Okay, Jessica.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Stepanek. I am the Regional Coalition and Project Coordinator for Warren County, out of the Family Guidance Center of Warren County and Prevention Connections. I just always like to jump on your meetings, Melissa, because it's a different format than what I'm accustomed to, which is awesome. So I like to learn from you guys. Thank you so much.
We're glad you're here. Next, I have Jody Catman.
Good morning, I'm Jody Catman. I am the Student Assistance Counselor in Timberlane Middle School in Hopewell Valley. Glad to be here and nice to meet everyone.
So glad to have you here. Kruti.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kruti Shah. I'm from Hampton Behavioral Health. I do the community outreach. Thank you for having me.
Lauren.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lauren Carroll from the Southwest Council. We serve Cumberland, Salem, and Gloucester County, but I am specifically a prevention specialist for Gloucester as part of the HUB grant. So thank you for having me.
We're so glad you're here. Sergeant Martinez.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. I am Sergeant Benjamin Martinez. I work with the New Jersey National Guard Counter Drug Task Force, where we help with mapping, media. I'm also the public affairs representative for the drug demand reduction outreach section of Counter Drug.
Thank you. Vanessa Peters.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Vanessa Peters. I'm a family support advocate with Sharing the Hope Family Support Center.
I serve Mercer County, and we support family members who have a loved one affected by substance use disorder.
All right, Nancy.
Hi, good morning. Nancy Zaroshin from Penn Medicine Princeton House. Thank you.
Okay, Shamika.
Good morning. My name is Shamika. I'm an intern at Rider University for the Alcohol, Drug, and Sexual Assault Prevention.
There's a lot of changes there, and I hear you're graduating, Shamika. We're gonna be so sad to see you go. You've been such a big help to Jamie. And we're sad to see Jamie go too. It's Sharonda.
Hi, I'm Sharonda Howard. I'm Hightstown High School Student Assistant Counselor. It's my first meeting, so I'm excited to see you guys all and learn some good information.
Well, we're so glad to have you. We've been kind of going to different meetings and like talking in the chat and stuff. So we're really glad you're here.
Yes.
I know there's been a lot of change at the high schools with stacks and teachers and a lot of, turnover. So we're so glad that we were able to reconnect and thank you for being an active role in that. And it's just so glad to see everybody's faces. I miss y'all. I know I'm definitely looking forward to our June meeting, which is going to be in person. I just want to remind you all again, that is going to be our awards breakfast, and we are going to have food and everything. So please come. We're going to be sending more information as it gets closer. You are going to have to RSVP, and we are going to have to limit the number of people that come. We're not sure exactly what that number is going to be, but we think we'll be able to get everyone in, and we hope we will be too. And we're going to be recognizing people in our communities. Actually, to that end,
did we get Carol Chamberlain?
Oh no,
Didn't get me either.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeez, just speak up, people. don't let me talk. All right, Lisa.
I'm Lisa Kaufman. I'm with Mercer Council. I am the administrative assistant. I help everybody do everything, and also with an emphasis on the senior adults right now.
Oh, and Vanessa DeRosa. Sorry.
Hi, good morning. Vanessa DeRosa. I'm prevention educator at Mercer Council. I facilitate the alcohol use prevention program for students in grades K through 5.
And Carol Chamberlain.
Good morning. Sorry for the typo on my name. I'm a little bit typing challenged right now. I have a brace on my hand, but good morning, everybody. Good to see everybody's faces. I am working with the West Windsor Health Department doing COVID work, but I'm also on the board here. And will we have time later to talk about some programs, Melissa, or should we do that now?
Oh, absolutely. We'll have some time at the end. So, okay. and if you have to go a little bit early, just go ahead and type it in the chat, and we'll divert some time.
Catch it.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce our speaker. Eric Van Eck, we first met him when he was still working on his undergrad, and he had a miraculous story there that I'm sure you'll hear. And then we were super excited to hear that he was now working with the recently redeveloped TCNJ program. And, TCNJ has always been one of those exemplary programs that is a great model for many colleges around the country, at least how we want them to be. And Eric is a pivotal part of that. So without further ado, I will turn it over to you, Eric.
Thank you, Melissa. So yes, I'm Eric Van Eck. I'd like to thank the council for having me out to speak today. I am going to share my screen here, and let me see if I know how to put this in presentation mode.
Slideshow. Yeah.
How's that look?
Looks great.
Yeah.
Okay,
looks good.
great. Yeah, so when I was asked to speak this month, I wasn't sure if I was the right guy for the job. I even went to Chris and I said, hey, they're asking me to speak on Alcohol Awareness Month. Am I qualified? I am not a prevention specialist, and I've literally never used alcohol responsibly. But actually, upon doing some research about the initiative, I found that some of the first targets of this campaign, this Alcohol Awareness Month, were college students. Turns out that when you mix newfound freedoms with alcohol, lots of problems arise. And I am in the business now of guiding and educating college students, so I am grateful for this opportunity. A little background on the month. In 1987, the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, we know that as NCAD, declared the first National Alcohol Awareness Month. In the month of April, the council uses community-sponsored awareness activities and social media campaigns to draw attention to the causes of alcoholism and the risks of alcohol dependence, and encourages people to talk about this disease. And I'm sure you all have been part of some of these initiatives, and thank you for your work. From my experience, having open and honest conversations with people, even though it sometimes seems like it's not doing enough, in fact, is such an effective tool. So let's keep on having them. The last time the numbers were crunched, over 90,000 people in the United States lost their lives to alcohol-related deaths. This includes things like organ failure, car accidents, and violence, homicides and suicides. And not to be lost in the sauce, we experienced over 100,000 drug overdoses last year as well. These numbers aren't horrendous enough. I'd like to remind everyone that not factored into any of this are so many other consequences: debilitating injuries, physical abuse and harms, mental and physiological harms and abuse, the destruction of families, damages to property, crimes, loss of productivity, and probably the worst for me, knowing the feeling of that, is the loss of the human spirit. So I want to thank you for what you do and for opening the conversation and participating in things like this. Let's keep on talking about it. So the other thing that does qualify me, besides being on a college campus doing recovery work and other prevention work, is that I have personally been miraculously delivered from the depths of a substance use disorder. I'm not going to dwell on my story for very long, but how does a adorable young boy who's pictured here, who is smart and loved and kind, become this? Someone who didn't realize it at the time and would definitely not have admitted to it, but was someone who had a substance use problem. This picture was high school, probably senior year. Believe me, there are many to pick from. The kid in this picture in the middle there, shirtless, when everybody else is still like, having a good time. That kid had straight A's. He was a multiple sport athlete. He was an accomplished musician, an Eagle Scout, had a ton of friends, had a girlfriend, a car, and had a scholarship to come to the College of New Jersey. So like, how could somebody like that have a problem? Like I said, I'm not going to dwell on it for very long, so I will change the picture. I'll put the link in the chat, but this is a recent article in the Chronicle of Higher Education that highlighted the effectiveness of collegiate recovery programs while using my story as an example. I am no longer ashamed of that other picture, but I'm sure as hell more proud of this one. So I'll leave this up while I'm speaking just briefly on my story. I can't tell you what caused the transformation from that adorable young boy to someone who had a problem with substances. But I can tell you that even with all the education I received in grade school and from my family, that I had my first drink at 13 years old. I can tell you at, that very moment, that first drink of mine, that when I drank it, all was right with the world. I felt, I felt like I could finally be myself. I was somewhat of a shy kid, somewhat of, just felt out of place, a little uncomfortable in my own skin. I think, normal human things. I just found a solution. When I had that first drink, all those kind of fears and insecurities melted away. And, all, like I said, all was right with the world. And now I didn't start drinking every day at the age of 13. But when family parties or neighborhood parties would roll around, and I'd have the opportunity to kind of like sneak around and, commandeer some alcohol and kind of bring it to my peers. And, like that's all I could think about when the party was rolling around and I knew it was coming. I already started thinking in my brain of how I was going to sneak around and do that. And, the sneaking around and the line and all that kind of stuff was almost just as exhilarating at the time that the actual use was, the relief that I got from the use. So it wasn't until probably 8th grade that I was drinking every weekend, whether we were, pinching that from our parents' stashes, me and the friends I was hanging out with on the weekends, or if we were getting older kids to buy it for me. I did have an older brother, and so did some of my other friends, had older brothers that would, be able to buy it or find somebody that was of age to buy it. And so, we were able to get it. And those were, in my eyes, those were the kids that were cool, that the girls were paying attention to. And so that need to fit in, or that want to fit in and find acceptance and attention and love from people around me, kind of took hold, and I was partying every weekend. But, life is still good. Still a straight A student, still kind and caring and loving. And there was a lot of good times, and I'm not gonna, sugarcoat it and say that there wasn't. But, as things progressed and in high school and whatnot, like I definitely had put myself in risky situations and made a lot of bad decisions while using, and compromised my health, and woke up with a lot of bumps and bruises and burns, self-inflicted. And so there was a lot that came with it. But since the outward consequences, and some of the achievements in my life, that was still being maintained, like, I could not see that it was a problem. I just viewed that everybody was doing it. I was never going to smoke marijuana, and this is Alcohol Awareness Month, so I will stick to that. But I just want to briefly, share that when intoxicated, when drinking, junior year at a college visit of my older brother, I was put in a situation where I was offered marijuana, and I had been adamantly against marijuana, actually even chastising some of my friends for having used it at that time. That just overwhelming fear to fit in, that I'm going to be rejected, or that fear of rejection took over. And since I had already been loosened up a little bit, I was more willing to go ahead and grab what was being passed around. And I remember when I had smoked marijuana for the first time, my brain that was very overactive kind of shut off. And that was amazing to me. I thought I found the solution, and I went very quickly from someone who was never going to smoke marijuana due to the properties, and I don't want to say medicinal properties, or the self-medicating properties that I found within it, the easy fix. Within a couple weeks, I was smoking every day, and that's kind of how fast it happened. Right. So senior year in high school, still with the world at my fingertips, I can't put my finger on what exactly happened. I will say this, that progressively, without my permission, I started using more and more. It started affecting things in my life to a higher degree. Relationships started becoming strained. Things that I once, held value to, family, grades, achievements, sports. Slowly those things kind of schlepped off. I started isolating a lot more and keeping people even further at distance than I had in the past. And it just seemed like it was more and more necessary to continue to alter my state. And it's kind of like a snowball effect where, as these things are happening and I find myself slipping in some of these roles and responsibilities and values that I had once held dear, I started feeling worse about the decisions I was making and about myself. And that would make me want to use more to escape. And it wasn't anything, I didn't wake up and want to like hurt my family or hurt my friends or fail out of the College of New Jersey after going 6 years for 2 different undergrads and not completing any of them. But those things just started to happen. And because of and you'll read anywhere that you read about alcoholism or substance use disorders, that like that denial piece, it wasn't the substances. I then put blame on other people, on other institutions, the College of New Jersey, the cops, if they would just bother people who were really, committing crimes instead of me and giving me DUIs. I was high, just, I wasn't hurting anybody. My parents would just go to sleep at night and they wouldn't have to worry about me. Like I couldn't see the full picture until I reached my point of desperation and saw the full picture. I had, like I said before, the loss of the human spirit. Like I had come face to face with how far I had drifted from the person that I believe I was meant to be. And at that point, I kind of just had like an aha moment, a moment of clarity, and I sought help. I sought help, and in that treatment center, it was, acute treatment. I had been in the hospital detoxing. Then I went to a 30-day facility. I was fortunate to have DUI funding from a prior DUI for the first 14 days because I was uninsured. And then got county funding for another 14 days that I am eternally grateful for the staff, my counselor at the treatment facility who did the hard work to find me that funding. And I know how hard it is to find treatment for people who need it. And we have people on this call today that could help get connected to treatment if there's somebody in your life. And so use our resources. But I was grateful for that treatment. However, when I left that treatment center, like I needed to continue to be supported. That is acute, that's like putting a cast on a broken, a leg or a broken arm. That is mending, the initial break, but like further than that, like physical therapy, like I needed to continue to be supported. And I found my pathway through 12-step fellowships. And I'm a believer in multiple pathways. I know that 12-step fellowships work when you work them. I also realize that they may not be everybody's cup of tea and there's other ways to do it. And when I, found recovery, I also had this desire to like be that person I knew I could be. And I tried to get readmitted to the College of New Jersey. Turns out now they had a collegiate recovery program. My mom found it on the website. It wasn't even me that was looking. And she connected me with, Chris Freeman, who I am a huge fan of, maybe even a bigger fan of than he is of me. And I attempted to get into the recovery program at the college. After an interview with Chris, I realized I would be in the recovery program as long as I stayed in recovery, as long as I got into the College of New Jersey and was readmitted. So I tried, was denied, tried again, was denied. I tried like 3 times, 4 times before I was finally readmitted to the College of New Jersey, just when I was, had my foundation enough to be in 12-step fellowship to like be successful at college. I definitely needed that time to kind of settle in to life. But when I did transition to the recovery program, like I found something that I did not expect. And so I'm not sure how long I've gone, but I will be brief. I just want to talk about the recovery program at the College of New Jersey. So this program includes substance-free housing. We call that Lion's House. I lived in the substance-free housing. Recreate Your Night is a like a recreation program through the recreation department that provides substance-free activities for students 4 nights a week on some of the big party nights. It's like other options, alternate options to what people feel like is the only option to have fun in college, which is partying and using substances. There's counseling services. Chris is leads that front of certified drug and alcohol counselors. So, there's counseling available for students with substance use disorders or that are attempting recovery in any stage that they are. And then there's this collegiate recovery community, which is now a student organization. At that point, though, it was, kind of just a few students. And Ian is a champion of that program. And I'm grateful for the support he gave to me early on and what we were able to accomplish. But it was this group of students, not only in recovery, but also allies of recovery, people who may identify through friends and family. And thank you to the family support person who was on this call, because that is so important. It's a family disease. Families need to heal together. If a family member goes to get help, even before the person with the substance use disorder in their life does, that sets such a great example of somebody not just like talking the talk, hey, go get help, but walking the walk, like I'm getting help and trying to manage my behavior, and people see that. And so thank you for the coaches out there and the family support people out there. But this community was such an important, I can't begin to say how important it was and how transformative it was to me. And so like I learned that I could have fun as a person in recovery. In college, I could have fun. I could do activities that didn't have to involve substances. That was something I was really scared about when I first entered into recovery. Like, how am I going to have fun? The people in the meetings that I was going to said they went to diners, that they would, go to dances, and I was like, that does not sound fun at all to me, and I didn't realize that there was, ways to have a good time without substances, and being with a group of peers doing that was great. This was an opportunity that we got to go to a national convention in Keystone, Colorado. ARHE is the Association of Recovery in Higher Education. This is an annual conference that they hold, and this was a bunch of my peers that went out to Colorado, and I have so much respect for Chris for organizing that, because now I see how much red tape that is involved in bringing that many people out, and I couldn't even imagine at this point doing something like that, but I am so grateful for that opportunity. It really kind of helped us be a more cohesive unit, and we realized that, like Melissa said, the College of New Jersey is way ahead. We were allowing allies. We were talking about things like mental health as well, and how it's associated with, substance use disorders, and that, recovery is a process and that's not specific to those with substance use disorders. And there's many people that could benefit from the principles we learn. And man, I just had to share some of these pictures. Like, we had like some really good times, substance-free parties, Halloween parties, 90s parties. We threw Halloween events where we kind of had a scare house. That's one of the Recreate Your Night events. And this is a person that you saw shirtless, thought he was having fun, thought he was having a good time. I had been woken up from already been passed out for the night. It was probably like 10 o'clock or something. I thought that was fun. To now like look at the genuine, I'm not smiling in any of these pictures, but that's just who I am. I need to do the bit. But having genuine fun, building genuine relationships with people in my life, being vulnerable, not even thinking about how substances could enhance, any of these things, like just having a genuine good time. I don't know if we could have the music. This is the Macarena. I might not have. So look at this kid. I mean, come on. I just needed to show that because this is the collegiate recovery community and the collegiate recovery program working in my life. I found my voice through this program. I learned how to speak about my condition with others that maybe weren't, that didn't identify with having a substance use disorder. I learned a whole bunch of language in 12-step meetings that I didn't feel comfortable sharing with the general public. And I learned how to, how to share my voice and to share my story with others. There's a coalition here on campus of faculty and staff that are very supportive. And then just the general student body and the public beyond that. As I've continued to progress in my recovery journey, I've had a lot of opportunities like today to kind of like share the hope and share what it means to have a substance use disorder and to be in recovery. And lasting friendships, something I was never able to make. I always kept people at arm's distance because I didn't like myself very much. I didn't know myself very much. And today I have like deep, meaningful relationships that, some of my closest friends are, even though this many years out of graduation, I graduated in 2018, that I'm still in contact with and I'm friends with. So with that being said, it was a huge part of my journey is this recovery program. We talk about the continuum of care. The continuum of care, it is like, well, what's after treatment? What else can supplement if somebody's in a 12-step fellowship? There's things like recovery housing and Oxford houses, and there's things like collegiate recovery programs. And so this was able to keep me supported through some tough years, as I approached, I think I was like 18 months in recovery when I came in, and when I left, I had a little over 3 years. Today, I sit in front of you with, over 5 years of recovery, of abstinence-based recovery. And, at this point, there are statistics out there saying that my chance of developing a substance use disorder are pretty much just as, are the same as if I, picked up for the first time and I didn't know that I had a substance use disorder. So back to, I am getting healthier by the day, and I definitely appreciate TCNJ and its role in this recovery program in that. I was asked to share some resources. There are so many alcohol resources out there. You literally, all you have to do is Google alcohol resources or alcohol awareness, and you're going to get a ton of resources. The one thing I did want to mention about recovery resources, or if there's anybody that you know of or that you want to help through your work, whether you're in schools or something that people are just starting to find out about, are recovery coaches or certified peer recovery specialists. I do have that certification as a peer recovery specialist. It's just a little bit of a different dynamic than a counselor or a doctor or a probation officer, where people are more often ready to listen to somebody who is just kind of like a person who has experience and is not really telling you what to do, but trying to help you along your journey. And so if there's any recovery community organizations or RCOs in your area, and I know of a few in Mercer County, but if you can link with them, they will definitely know where to find recovery coaches in this area. And that's a strategy that, a lower pressure strategy, and almost, you're not tricking people, but it's non-professional. It's like non-professional services, and people are more receptive to that. I was, because I was an extremely defiant person. And so that's something I wanted to draw attention to, and also just what alcohol and drug support services at TCNJ is doing. And I think this reflects probably a better way of handling, prevention services than some of the old tactics we had used. And you all are probably aware of this, but like I said, open conversations, these are 3 goals that we kind of live by here at AOD Support Services, guiding our work. Reducing the potential harms by having open conversations, just being honest and finding out what people think and what they're going to do. Like, we know that people are going to experiment. So telling them not to is less effective than just kind of having conversations with them. And so within those honest conversations, we're going to help people increase the tools for preparation to use and give them more knowledge to make more informed decisions. A second one here is normalizing the behavior of students who are choosing not to use substances. And so I was blown away by this, and I wish I had the graphic, but I couldn't find it this morning to put on here. Most college students aren't using substances the way I think they are. And that's kind of just like a general misconception that society and the media and just among peers and what we kind of think is happening is not really happening. The majority of individuals choose not to use. Most of the time, most weekends, the majority of the people on a college campus are not going to be using substances. And so we want to bring that to the forefront and normalize that and let people know that, hey, you're not the only one. You don't have to feel the pressure to do it because there's plenty of people on campus that are not doing it. You're not missing out. And then the third is creating spaces on campus to support individuals who are in substance use recovery or are seeking substance use recovery. And things like the collegiate recovery community are how we do this, different events that we throw or put on or promote to the college campus. And this goes, especially this third one goes way beyond just people who are in substance use recovery. It has opened the door for a lot of people to grow and to heal, who are either impacted by people in their life who may have a disordered relationship with substances, or even translated to people recovering from, a different mental health, other mental health conditions or concerns that they may have. And so it's great. One of the programs we're here, and this is my last little bit, one of the programs Chris has recently developed and we are working on is this Adulting for the Recently Liberated. And this is a great program. I've seen it presented once to a group of students and they reacted so positively to the open conversation, kind of the myth busting and statistics that were being shown. And then, kind of just the general that we've, always kind of discussed, like safer ways to use and just arming people with information to make better decisions. And so I thank Chris for his hard work here at the college, and we are kind of shifting the culture here to have more open conversations with the student body and engage them with some peer educators, and it's working. And so I appreciate once again for y'all letting me come out and share my story and kind of some of the stuff we're doing here at TCNJ. And at the last little bit I could leave you is let's keep having these open conversations. Really, let's just talk to young adults like they're young adults and kind of gauge what they may think about, the alcohol and other substances, rather than just kind of telling them what they should think about. And that way we could have more of a dialogue rather than a debate or arguments. We can kind of just talk to one another. So again, thank you.
Eric, thank you so much. Your story is absolutely inspiring and hopeful. It's obvious that you have great tenacity and persistence. Like just hearing you talk about how many times you reapplied, I think that shows a lot for what your mindset was and the goals that you had set for yourself. A couple things that I took from this is you know, the council exists to try to help change some of those social norms that you were talking about, that not every college student is getting blasted, that, you know, college students still have goals and still have things that they want to get done. And we're finding that that is incredibly difficult to change those people's perspectives. And that's absolutely a goal that we have, is the social norming aspect. And then of course, promoting substance-free activities. I know Desi works there. Desi helps us out sometimes, and we would love to maybe try to get a good event for next year. We can work on that this summer, because that's absolutely one of the things that we strive to do here at as part of the coalition. Lots of praises coming in. You have new fans, Eric. Ruth, did you have something more you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so just as I guess the part that I pulled from was that I think more than anything, a lot of the time college kids, because and any age really with development, you're going through a time where you don't know where to land, or you don't know where to go. And what are your safe spaces for that? So I think more than anything is creating spaces, but also creating spaces for connection so that people can stay connected, to not be inspired, to hopefully connect in a different way than they're used to, connecting to themselves again, because sometimes you can be misaligned that way as well. So thank you so much, Eric. We really appreciate your story. And yeah, so I mean, healthy alternatives, definitely part of that as well.
So just briefly, because it is Alcohol Awareness Month, I just wanted to show you show everyone just a brief presentation we did at we did it during lunch bunch at Ewing High. Let me try to make this bigger.
I can never figure out how to do that. Oh, it's format or view slideshow. View.
Yes, but it just makes me nervous because then I can't see anybody. But this is just a brief thing that we did over a lunch bunch. You know, it's a very short period of time where we just kind of give them some things to talk about, and we have some slides here. Just like Eric said, one of the big things that we're trying to do is meet people where they are. That is one of the goals of the coalition set by CADCA, is that cultural competency. Don't go in and just start preaching, but to really kind of feel out what kind of questions and concerns the audience that you're using. So part of that is incorporating a harm reduction model, which is, okay, if you have chosen to drink already, what can you do to protect yourself, or what information can educate your choices? And obviously, and one thing that I say right off the bat is, as a mother, I'd like to come in here and tell you never to use because it's unhealthy and unsafe and I'm worried about you. I said, but if you've made those choices already, this is what, you know, this is to educate you so that you can make more educated choices going forward.
And also just to add to that, just for a second, when CADCA had said culture is prevention, it certainly is, in understanding where that community is coming from. It's not just alcoholism exists across all cultures, of course it does, but understanding how alcoholism or any substance use disorder may look within that community is so important, because people are socialized by their interactions. They're socialized by the people they're around. And if they're only surrounded by people that don't know healthy alternatives, then what do their choices look like? So giving them that ability to be culturally competent is also part of that. And if we deliver things in a way that are culturally competent, and we deliver things in a way that do help, then we're not losing our efforts. But if we do lose our efforts, then we're losing them by not receiving it well. We're not packaging it in a way that is necessary for them to receive that information. I see Melissa is a little bit busy. So we did want to talk about BAC. A lot of the time when we're talking to college, or sorry, any student in particular, we're like, what does BAC stand for? And sometimes they come back with a slew of answers. But we basically, for anyone that doesn't know, BAC is blood alcohol content. That means 100% of your blood is blood, right? So that's something. And then if you have 0.07 or 0.08, things like that, that means 8% of your blood has absorbed alcohol. So that means 8% of your blood is alcohol. I have control issues, and knowing that just makes me nervous. I'm like, I don't have 100% of blood in me, you know, and sometimes when I'm taking blood or like someone's taking blood for, you know, medical purposes, I'm like, I want that back, like put it back, you know. So I just have very much I don't know, an interaction with the way that looks. Melissa?
So I just had a brief TikTok. I don't know if it'll work. It didn't.
California
Yeah,
style
no, we're
brisket
not going to do
burrito.
that. Hold on just a second.
I mean, I'll
Sorry.
take that too.
At least it's cooking TikTok. Thank goodness it's not on something else. But yeah, I used to have something about blood alcohol content. About I think it was about like passing out and dizziness, like talking about the way that the brain records high blood alcohol content that it doesn't record at all. So it's not that you're just blacking out those memories, it's that your brain didn't record them at all. So that's one thing I try to share. Another thing we try to share, and this is especially useful for kids who are, or students who are doing any kind of driver's ed, is the is showing that a drink is not a drink, is not a drink, is not a drink. Because you know, one example I give is jungle juice, or in my college it was pledge juice, which is literally a trash can full of all kinds of delights. And people might say, oh wait, I only drank one cup of that. I only had one drink. But what they don't realize is because of alcohol content, they could have had 3 to even 6 drinks worth of alcohol, and that absolutely affects their blood alcohol content, as well as, you know, their control and their you know, what might be their safety mechanisms.
And also to understand mixed drinks, just in particular, like on Long Island iced teas, a lot of people don't realize that's like 4 drinks in one. So if you're like, oh, I only had one drink, well, your body only processes 1 drink at a time. So if you had 4 drinks in 1 drink, you still need 4 hours to process that drink. So just keeping in mind that as well.
That's definitely one thing we emphasize, Ruth. Thanks for bringing that up. Is that the body can only process 1 serving of alcohol per hour. And then here's just a cute little thing on solo cups. But that's one thing that I talk about in particular here, is that these are the myths, like let somebody eat food or take a cold shower or sleep it off. But really the only thing that your body can truly do is have time to process all of those things. And when the body is overwhelmed, you know, there's going to be health ramifications there. We especially mentioned sleep it off because there have been some tragic cases in our area, actually, where you know, there were injuries or there was alcohol poisoning involved, and they said, oh, just let him sleep it off. And unfortunately, I know, like at UPenn, like one didn't survive. And you know, just like Eric was talking about, this kid full of promise, you know, this athlete, this, you know, good looking kid, and his life was gone because of that alcohol poisoning, and because his fraternity brothers didn't know how to handle it.
So that's also a harm reduction strategy that we use, how to interact with people who are drinking, how to help them recover from their, you know, drinking binge if they are doing that, those sorts of things. To understand how to treat people while they're in that state is just a part of prevention as anything else would be, because that harm reduction helps people understand how to keep people alive. So that is prevention as well.
So if anybody wants a copy of that, we'd be happy to send it to it. As I said, super short. We let the kids kind of lead the discussion. 2 of my lunches actually wanted to talk. 1 lunch literally ignored me and played Uno the whole time, and that's fine. But the information is there and they know where to find it if they need it. So that's just an example of what we're doing for Alcohol Awareness Month. some ongoing business. We mentioned this just briefly. We have our prevention awards are June. Today was the due date for those applications. Now we can go, since it's a shortened week because of the holidays, we can go through next week, but we are going to have to get those sooner rather than later. I will, if anybody just sends me an email and says why, then I will send a formal nomination form to you to fill out, but at least then we'd have an idea of, you know, some of the community members that you're looking out to. Just to clarify, they do not have to be a member of our coalition, even though we want them to be. We want them. If they're out there in the community and they're serving, we absolutely want them to be part of our numbers, but they don't have to be part of our numbers. They just have to be increasing the protective factors for our community, especially for youth. They have to be reducing risk factors that that can enhance the chances for substance use. We just have some you know, just somebody that is standing out to you and in your community. We already have a couple people in mind that we as a coalition are going to nominate, but we definitely want to hear from your community partners. Ruth, do you want to go through some of the other stuff?
Oh, so yeah, sorry. I am monitoring the chat and doing the minutes at the same time. We are a two-woman show, people. So beyond that, we also have, we're talking about new business, correct?
Or ongoing business.
Oh, my apologies. Okay, it's 10 in the morning. I still didn't have coffee. We're doing. So anyway, there will be, because we have the recognition awards, that's really exciting. Our June meeting will be in person at 8:30. So my apologies for a half hour earlier, but we will have food. So that'll be cool. Yeah, look forward to the croissants. And beyond that, also we have a scholarship, the Geeta Rumahan Scholarship. Make sure that if you have youth or anyone that's looking for a scholarship, it's $500, I believe. And I mean, I know that doesn't cover a whole lot, but it can cover a semester of books if you really wanted to. And the other thing is that, well, this is not just for high school age people. This is for anyone looking in the field of counseling or some sort of social science involved in recovery or anything to pursue protective factors. So just putting that out there. And it's not just for students. It can be for anyone who's going for a certification program. So there's that as well. The application is open until May 27th. So just keep your stuff open. And send it forward to anyone who you think would be good for that. Also, recovery meetings. We had said that before, but there are 2 virtual recovery meetings. One is because there was such a demand for them. One is run by David DeCamp, Wednesdays from 7 to 8. So that is tonight, 7 to 8. We always send out those Zoom links, so look for those, as well as Thursdays at noon, which is run by Adrian Petta, who is the assistant patient navigator. So that also will be attached with our notes as they were last month as well.
We also have ongoing trainings that we do for the community. One is our TOPS program that is for activities and athletics. So young adults in athletics, that can be anyone from 3-year-old wrestling in the community center to, you know, high school and college teams. We want to spread the word about pain management and opioids and some of the pathways into opioid addiction. And we want to talk to your group, team, and or, you know, athletes. So please reach out to us if you know anyone who might benefit from that. Even passing out some of the information, maybe with a youth packet, like as they're registering, just trying to get some conversation going with parents, with athletes, with coaches, just so that they know. The second is our older adults program. We have lots of events coming up. In fact, right now, Lisa is packing up to go to one, and we appreciate that. We talk to senior centers. We talk to older adults in different forms to talk again about pain management and self-advocacy and talking about kind of working with and without opioid medication and how to control pain. So, you know, you're welcome to reach out to us if you have that. Now, another thing we do is we have lots of classroom programs that we put together. That alcohol one was just a brief one, but people have been contacting us and saying, hey, do you know about this substance? And we're like, actually, yes, we talk about that. And we are happy to talk to your group too. And we also have a youth group that is starting to pick up. We have some service projects coming up. We're currently waiting on the state for an evaluation so that we can do an environmental scan. And we have some fun activities coming up. So if you know youth in middle school or high school that are interested in helping their peers and helping their communities make healthy choices, we would love, love, love to hear from them. As for new
Catch them while
business,
they're young.
yeah, right. As for new business, as you are aware, it's Alcohol Awareness Month, but also next week is that fun-loving holiday that every prevention specialist cringes over, which is 420. I have a beautiful flyer that we made as on a committee that we're in.
It is really, it's graphically pleasing, if that is the best adjective for it. But also the great thing about it is you can cut it up into sections and put it on Instagram as well. It's very amendable to social media. So
here it is. I think it's so cute. It's called Blunt Facts. I don't know why it's a little hazy right now, but it has just some factoids about marijuana's effects on the brain, especially for youth and teens. And it reminds us that it is illegal under the age of 21. And then here is kind of a very, it's the same facts. It's some of the same graphics, but I personally like the way this layout. Some people like the above layout, but these are definitely a resource that you can use. We will send these out to you. We're going to put our logo on the bottom, but you're welcome to put your logo there as well. But these can go in bathrooms. These can go in, you know, these can go in hallways. They can be distributed electronically to whomever you'd like. But it's a great resource, especially to prepare for 420. For those of you who aren't aware of 420, it is not truly, it's not a nationally recognized holiday, thank goodness, but it was actually, it's the time that a group of California teenagers got out of high school and got together and smoked pot. And a bunch of different rumors have abounded from that. Some say that a 420 is the police call sign for when they catch you with marijuana, which is actually not. But it's kind of become this joke. And so 420, which is obviously April 20th, has kind of become like this pot smoker holiday.
Yeah, also, if you're looking for resources for 420, we have done quite a few things for 420 through our blog, through our website in general, but we also have our YouTube channel. I myself have done a presentation on 420, but we also have quite a bit of information about marijuana on our YouTube channel and our social media as well.
And for other resources, we did get the street drugs guides. For those of you who've received these in the past, it's just a really comprehensive look at the new things that are out there. It's you know, through the FDA, the DEA, the CDC, and I have to tell you, there are some things in here that I didn't even know about, which is I don't want to brag or flex or anything, but it was actually kind of surprising because I do try to stay on top of the street trends. Yeah, so there's some really interesting stuff in here. We have quite a few, but they're not cheap. So we use these as resources. So we want to get them into hands of people like SACs and guidance counselors and administrators and you know, people who might come in contact with some of this stuff and say, what the heck is this? So if you want one of those, please drop us an email, or if you need a stack. We actually had a center reach out to us and say, hey, do you got those guides? So we would be happy to give some to you and to get those to you any way we need, any way you need them. Another thing that is concerning us right now that is actually ties in well with the whole street drugs thing is the fact that that there has been a huge rise in counterfeit pills. And this is something that we teach on quite frequently. One thing that Ruth and I show is that how easy it is to acquire a pill mill, pill press. Ruth is super creative and she compares it to making a bath bomb. If people have ever made those, where you take powdered elements and you crush it together and it creates a hard substance. Well, one thing that people are doing is they're buying these pill presses that look exactly like prescription pills, and they are filling it with everything from baking soda, of course, to fentanyl. And it is incredibly scary. We actually, there was a young man at Ryder who reached out to me and said that one of his friends went home for winter break. He was kind of feeling stressed because he had just finished finals. So he went out on the streets to get an Adderall to kind of refocus. And it turned out to be a fentanyl counterfeit pill. And he unfortunately lost his life. One thing that we really strive to do when we're teaching is to not do the old school blood on the highways or the sex ed where you have sex once, you're going to get pregnant and die. You drink once, you're going to, fall off a cliff and die. We really try not to use hyperbole because first of all, kids don't buy it. Second of all, it's not always true. But one thing that we do emphasize with these counterfeit pills out there is that literally one pill can kill. It can be your first time. It can be your 8th time buying a pill off the streets. But this is truly one of those things that can, and that is just because the potency of fentanyl and some of the other substances out there is so freaking scary. So as you can see on the screen, the authentic oxycodone is right here on the left. The fake is on the right. You can't tell the difference, especially if you aren't a pharmacologist.
The untrained eye, yeah, it looks the same.
It looks exactly the same. And these pill mills are very, very sophisticated. And by the way, if you're asking, yes, you can buy them on Amazon and on eBay. And then of course you can get substances either through the dark web or just through street sources. And then of course you can just bake up whatever you want to. So these are some of the, this was made by CADCA. These are some of the things that people can do. And then I wanted to show this. The DEA has launched a campaign. Did it transfer? Can you see? Yes, one pill can kill?
Yeah.
Okay. The DEA has launched this whole media campaign called One Pill Can Kill, and it has even more information about how this works. One thing that I always try to show, I thought it was on here. Okay, it's just how few grains of fentanyl it takes to be a lethal dose. So it's obviously information that we want youth to know, that we're not just making this up. We're not trying to harsh their high. We really are trying to save their lives to make sure that they can make other choices as well. So if you want more information about that, let us know.
Yeah, for that media, just in general, in case anybody's wondering the comparison for a lethal dose, I don't know if you play with table salt on the weekends, but if you isolate 3 grains, that is roughly about the dosage for a lethal dose of fentanyl, of street fentanyl. So just keep that in mind as we're moving forward. And one pill can kill, and it is something that is scary, and it's out there, and it's not as common as we think it is, but it's not nearly as it's not nearly as spaced out as we think it is either. So just be aware.
So the ROC, which is these, they're run by New Jersey and then by federally. They were talking about the amount of fentanyl in heroin substances, and in 2015 7% of a substance was fentanyl, and in 2020, I think is the last time they monitored it, or they were able to count it. I think it was up to 78%. So to go from a saturation of 7% to 78 in less than 10 years is really staggering. And, you know, as I said, we're really trying to keep people safe.
Yeah, and it bleeds
now-
into all substances. So it's not just pills, it's not just heroin, it's not just opioids. It can be found in street marijuana if people aren't careful. It can be found in a lot of spaces and places. So just people need to be aware of how prevalent it actually is.
Right. So to that end, one of our members reached out to us who wasn't able to be on the line today, Maggie Giovanni from Footprints to Recovery. They are hosting a Narcan training along with dinner at their Quaker Bridge location on 4/20. So if you're looking for something to do at 6 p.m. on 4/20, they're doing Narcan training where you can get your own Narcan. And that training is available to anyone 15 and above. It depends on which vendor you're using. Rutgers has virtual trainings now. In-person trainings are starting to roll out again. So if you have anyone who is taking pain medication, even legitimately, they should have Narcan in hand. My philosophy, I've been trained about 14 times at this point. My philosophy is I'd rather be trained and not need to use it than to need to use it and not know what to do or not have access to it. So that's my spiel for that as well. Ruth, unless you have anything else, I think this is the time where we'd like to open it up to our members. I know Carol Chamberlain said she had something she wanted to announce.
I don't think I have anything. So let's move forward.
Okay, you ready for me?
We always are.
Okay, so a couple things I wanted to just make everybody aware of. The West Windsor Health Department, although some people, you know, feel that we're getting behind COVID, we're still offering vaccination clinics for anybody who lives in Heightstown, Robbinsville, or West Windsor, and we're offering first doses, second doses, boosters, and now certain people are eligible for a second booster. Melissa, I will send you over the eligibility for the second booster. I'll send that over to you this morning so you have it, and maybe you could share that when you share some other things. I also wanted to make sure everybody was aware that Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health has the Hope and Healing program. I don't know if you're aware of that, but they offered various webinars for people who have been adversely affected by COVID, both some social programs and some mental health programs for those people. So I will also find the flyer on that, Melissa, and I'll send that over to you also. And another program that I just became aware of through the Healthcare Quality Institute, they have the Mayor's Wellness Campaign, which some of you may be familiar with the Mayor's Wellness Campaign, but they now have a toolkit on social isolation. And I haven't gone through it thoroughly yet, but I've used some of their other toolkits for some other programs that they have. And they're typically very good. And I will share that information with you too. I just can't do it right now from where I'm at, but I will get that to you so you have that, okay?
Okay, we'll make sure that we send that out with our notes. We usually send out a packet of flyers that you guys provide for us. So please continue to email those to us if you have something else. Other announcements or other events anyone wants to promote or talk about? While we're waiting for people to unmute, I did forget to give you a status of what's going on with marijuana in this great state of New Jersey. The first round of licenses have been issued. However, they're keeping it pretty close to the vest right now, which areas or which companies got those licenses. But I did see that only one was issued for Central Jersey region. There were 13 overall. But they have also given May 15th as kind of a deadline for when they're going to announce. But legally, those businesses could open up anytime. The 13 that were issued last week, legally they could open up at any time. What we're seeing happening is that some medical dispensaries are asking for a provisional adult use license to allow them to sell to the greater public and not just to those who have the medical marijuana card. So the thing that we've been talking about for years now is actually happening. One of the state senators who was very, very pro getting the cannabis industry approved was actually going to sue the state if some of the licenses weren't issued. So that's that, and the fact that it has been over 2 years since over a year since the legislation came out, kind of spurred them to take some action. So that is the status as we know about it right now. I did hear that municipal alliances have been notified in at least our county that extra funds have opened up for extra educational efforts. I am working with a couple of the municipal alliances to help build what we hope is a parent curriculum. We are still working out the details, but those are some of the efforts that are going on right now. And of course, we will speak about marijuana and brain development and vaping and tobacco and companion substance use or substances to any group you put us in front of. Ruth and I are super shy, as you can tell, and we will talk to anyone who will listen. Trust us, our families are sick of hearing about it. So, you know, put us in, coach, we'll do it. So without further ado, any more, I did see some people snuck in. I saw Pollock had come in, and let's see, who else did I?
There was Lori Trainee. I don't know if she's still on.
Yeah, Lori, where are you from?
They may have stepped away for a minute.
Yeah. And then Keith, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I was unmuting at the wrong icon. I'm from Capitol Health, psych screening.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're so glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, Keith, I know he's busy. He might.
Hi, Melissa. I'm here. Yeah.
Hi.
Keith Levine, Lawrence Health Department. How are you?
All right. We're so glad to have you. I know
Excellent.
all of our health department peeps are starting to like cautiously stick their head above ground, you know, like the little gray, like groundhogs, like trying to look over the COVID stuff and start.
You don't want to jinx it though.
Yeah,
it's a well said analogy there. And if I could offer one thing, cases are starting to creep up, and after spring break and Easter holiday, we can expect to see a spike. So caution everyone to wear masks. It's not a big ask. Wear your mask, especially when out and about and in crowds.
All right, I like that phrase. We should make bumper stickers. It's not a big ask. Wear your mask. But thank you for all you do, Keith and Carol and Guy, and I'm trying to make sure I got all my public health people, but we really appreciate all you do in our communities. So, so that you get some of your life back, we will go ahead and close this meeting. If anybody has any flyers about anything that's going on in their communities, if you have any questions, please get them to us. Our emails in the chat here. It's rdelpino at PCMC at mercercouncil.org. It's M Arnold at mercercouncil.org. Mercer Council's one word. So you are welcome to reach out to us if there's more. We are going to be getting into our active season where we're going to want our coalition members to work with us on tabling, on getting some of the word out there. We're also trying to look around and see what sectors aren't represented or what groups of people should be at this table and aren't. So please keep that in mind as you go to your various meetings, as you work on your various partnerships. Who should be here at this table? Who needs to be part of this conversation? We're always looking for new members. As you know, there's no painful fees or initiation. We just want your ear. We want your, we want your activity. We want your enthusiasm and creativity. So please join us. Don't forget the recognition nominations are due today, or at least just give me a heads up today and we can help you fill out the formal application or whatever. We just need to get some of those nominations started so that we can do our awards. So have a great week. Have a wonderful holiday. I know there are several holidays going on right now. May you find peace